And we're back, and you are listening to Villaincast, BJJ Anti-Heroes, with myself, Chris, the Villain Pains, and Naki, El Jefe Arshed, and welcome to Reap the Week. But first, a quick thank you to our members at In Theory BJJ, Concept Driven Jiu-Jitsu, for fight commentary, technique and concept videos, private coaching, monthly webinars, and Q&A sessions. Please visit www.patreon.com/InTheoryBJJ. Hey, Nak.
Hola, how are you?
Told you, it just gets spicier every week now.
It's a nice little rhythm now. It's smooth.
Smooth. Getting smoother. Smoother every day. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Good. Don't forget I need to send you that video.
Yes.
So we recorded a video of Naki and I rolling the other day, and I almost thought you tried to unscrew my head. So I guess that'd be online.
That's why you signature guillotine, that is.
Like, I might have got a nice takedown, but then you tried to unscrew my head. So I guess we're even. So Jimmy's mailbag is full. I'm sure we'll talk about other things, but I'm always excited getting into the questions. And like I say, I told you just before we came on live that you're now getting a little fan base. Speaking of fan base, you've got your own seminar coming up at the end of the month.
Yes, I have. Shooter box.
Shoot box down in Croydon.
Croydon, yeah.
That's pretty amazing. I'll make sure I put adverts up. Some of the images I can put the advert up when we're done.
Yep. And congratulations, third Fanatics DVD.
Fourth.
Oh yeah, fourth. Yeah.
Yeah. I keep seeing people saying, "Oh, Chris's third one's out." My fourth one.
Yeah, fourth.
Fourth. Like hopefully it's doing well already. There's already a few reviews up for it. I hope so. It's like after the last couple. So obviously the first one we did, you and I went to Boston in when was it? August 2022. How nuts is that? It's been 2 years since that first one. Went out in August 2022. So it came out, I think, October time. Then the second two we did, you obviously helped me with my second one, and then we did the third one with Charles, which was all three of us on that one. And that was March 2023. But I think because like those two were so close to, those three were all so close together, it took a lot like out of us to kind of like put everything down. But since it's been over a year, 15 months since that, the amount of stuff that came out in this new one. Oh Lord, like things have changed so much since then. You think that was before we really understood posture?
Yeah. How
crazy is that? Like the world has changed so much in that time. Yeah, and I was really kind of, if it came out really smoothly. It sounds weird. Like, I released a lot all over those mats, but I think my brain's fried for the time being. We'll see how this goes. Even hand fighting, there wasn't. You know how we talk about hand fighting about. How do you actually understand? Like, what's the concept behind improving hand fighting? We didn't even know that.
Yeah.
How insane is that? Like the things that we now take for granted, that would just in every session. Even like how to properly stand up, we weren't even, not to the level we are now. That wasn't even on the cards yet. Like
that was like very early days, wasn't it?
Dude, like it's. And this is like you said to before, like so you got your black belt.
January 23.
Just before we went out, wasn't it? So we were all black belts out there. Yeah. And you think how much everything has changed even since you got your black belt.
Oh yeah.
I can quite honestly say that I've learned more since I got my black belt than the 10 years prior,
Yeah, same.
which is figure that out. You think that you kind of understand the game when you get a black belt, but it's not like you've. I remember from my traditional martial art days, it was like the way the curriculum was kind of explained to you was that you did the curriculum, and when you got your black belt, you now understood the basics of the art, and now you could kind of go explore. And it definitely feels that way with jiu-jitsu.
It's good, man. It's good.
Yeah. It's just,
Constant progress.
but it's like when you climb a mountain and you think, oh my god, I'm getting to the top of this mountain, and then you look at it like, oh fuck, I'm literally like at the first step of this mountain. But it's also, it's kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say frustrating, but I see you as you're not. I refer to you as one of my black belts, but you're not a student. You're one of my peers, and like we talk a lot about ideas and we share ideas and like how to take things forwards. But that's the kind of thing, is that when you hit that kind of black belt level, you don't really necessarily have a coach anymore. Like you hit black belt, and now you've been given all the tools that you need to then go figure this shit out on your own.
Yeah, but you're still my coach, Chris. I'm still your student.
Dude, after you tried to unscrew my head, like, I'm pretty sure that's not how a student-coach relationship goes.
A master endeavors his student to be better than him.
Yeah, but it's like, that was some like, Star Wars level shit. Like, you had to like.
I told you
me.
this shit is magic. Like when I did it on Adam, I couldn't believe I got it because I never get a guillotine on him, and I was like, "What?"
Do you call it magic because you got it from magic?
Yeah, Magic is the person who I did it on first. I was like, what? And then we drilled it a bit. I was like, oh shit, this is there. And then I did it to John. I did it to a few people who were rolling and over the next few days. And then when we rolled, I got it on you. So I was like, okay, so this is legit. It is here.
That's the thing about training with magic, is that this is one thing about, we've got our new gym. An hour out of Stafford now, Shrewsbury, Fight Fit Shrewsbury. So, hey guys, Fight Fit Shrewsbury, like you're getting a call out, and I completely trust like our blue belts being able to go over there and kind of help that gym move forwards. Like they understand everything just as much, and there's so many ideas we've already stolen from them. Like they do shut, and we're like, oh, that's clever, and I can't wait because so we have a student, Adam. We called him Magic because at one point we had about 5 Adams, so they all needed new nicknames, and he's a magician, and I want him to be able to bring his sleight of hand magician tricks into jiu-jitsu. I think if we can find a way of melding that together, I think he'd be an unstoppable killing machine.
The angles that he uses and the positions he plays to defense, we have to find weird shit on him because his defense is like so good.
He has said to me before, like, he has been using some of his magician sleight of hand stuff to escape things. And I'm like, dude, I'll record all of this. I want you to make an instructional because this will be fucking insane. The idea that, because he's done it to me. Like, he even explained to me
He does it to
like,
fucking me.
Yeah, he even told me afterwards.
I'm like, how the fuck did he get out? And I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm not going to fucking give you a chance now.
I have to, yeah, exactly. Like, it's like we're there, just like kicking the shit out of a wizard, like just to stop him using magic on us. Oh, anyone like obviously some of the guys in the gym listen to this, like, yeah, exactly. Like, go hurt the sorcerer. But anyone listen to this wants us to kind of put him on video doing some of his sleight of hand magician tricks used in a jiu-jitsu sphere, like, let us know, because it is, yeah, he's already using it on us. Like, he's escaping fucking, like, I'm trying to get him in like arm triangles and shit, and he's doing like weird sleight of hand shoulder shit, and I'm like, motherfucker, I know when he's done it, and I'm like, you bitch, I have to like let go of it. But he's done it a few times where he's kind of like used some like sleight of hand stuff to like get a bottom side control. And I'm like, motherfucker, he made me look over here, and now he's gone. Oh, that's it. The wizard's getting a beating. Amazing, I haven't even talked about this yet. Like we train with a wizard.
Yeah.
Anyway, back onto our onto the question list for first question, and this is from a friend of ours actually, an American friend of ours. Who wins in a fight, Naki or 15 12-year-olds?
Fuck you, Josh. I fucking knew it. I had a feeling this question, straight away as soon as he asked me, I was like, fuck it, is him.
Yeah.
How many 12-year-olds? 15?
15 12-year-olds. Does it matter? Like, does it matter the number's exact? If we had like 15, not 14. Like, that's the
No, like,
point.
I don't know. Like, it would depend on the size of these 12-year-olds. I mean,
Yeah,
if they all rushed me, it'd be a problem. But if they like came at me ones and twos, then it'd be I could clean them out then.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I think if all 15 people come at you once, you're fucked.
Yeah, it depends. Like I imagine it. Like, are we in an open field where they're kind of coming at me from all directions? Then yeah, maybe it's a problem. Although I don't know. Like I've seen some 12-year-olds, and they at 12 as well. They haven't come into their like testosterone yet, and they haven't got their
Yeah, especially nowadays, a lot
of
of the Gen Z or whatever. Now, what is it, Generation Alpha or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
They're all skinny little. I don't know, man. Like there's an obesity crisis, but all these kids nowadays are bloody skinny.
Skinny fat. That's the thing. It's when they haven't come into around that age, like, and it's because girls kind of mature a bit earlier than boys do. Like there's like a crossover phase where like, especially in jiu-jitsu, like girls will kick boys' asses around that age. And then like, girls get like softer and boys obviously just come into testosterone. But there's that little crossover phase where like physically, like boys just get their asses handed to them.
I think a 12-year-old, if I hit him like with probably 20% on the chin, I think I'd put him in a coma or something. Like that'd be sad.
Yeah. And then again, it just depends where are we? Like, we need to quantify this. Are we in a big open field? if we're in a hallway Daredevil style, I think I could take out this.
Oh yeah, fucking elbows and knees and headbutts, mate.
Dude, yeah, exactly. It's like those scenes from like Daredevil was it season 1?
Yeah.
Because
Because they can't get past it. It's just one on. There's 102 coming out here. You can deal with that easy.
Dude,
front kicks, bro.
I would be just clubbing my way. I got cardio. I'd be clubbing my way down that corridor.
Flying knees and flying elbows and shit.
Dude, I'd put music on and do it to a beat.
Yeah. Like that dance in Ocean's 12 when he's dancing around the lasers. Have you seen that?
Exactly. Yeah, dude.
That shit, bro. We're like, dude, smashing them out of the way.
Oh yeah, it'd be some like like Raid or something like that. It'd be some Indonesian like martial arts film. I'd just be going down that corridor.
Yeah, see, this is what Josh wanted.
Yeah, he's tricked us. He put us up to this.
Balaki.
Yeah, so I think 12-year-olds. I think you could take 15.
Yeah, I think so.
In the corridor. I think you'd be there. I think you double that number. I think you wouldn't get tired.
No, I don't think so.
And like, yeah,
I think after 5, I'd like proper have. I'd get into it like, and I'm like, now we're bouncing.
Yeah, you get rhythm.
Yeah, exactly.
On that one. What song would you listen to? What would give you the good rhythm to go beat up 15, 12-year-olds in the corridor?
Have a guess. What would get me going, Chris?
Dude. Dre.
Still Dre, exactly. I'm like, you fucking, who do you think you are?
It's like, you're like some sort of like Manchurian candidate or something. Like some like Soviet sleeper spy. Because when we're in the gym, like you could be rolling the saw and I'll purposely put that track on just to watch you kill them.
It gets me going, that track. I wish I could fight to that track, in a venue or something. Oh my God, it'd be fun.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. Second it goes on, I'm like, it's almost like that scene from like Captain America when you hear like the sleeper code words and you become this killing the Winter Soldier. It's like let's put Still Dre on, and all of a sudden some poor fuck gets murdered. Although, like, so the playlist that we're currently going through in the gym.
I was just gonna say one of them songs I wouldn't mind because it's so fast beat, but it's got like rap lyrics in there. Like, yeah, I wouldn't mind that. It'd be faster then.
So for the longest time when we've been doing music in the gym, like it's almost like a semi-war between Naki and I. Like if Naki is in charge of the playlist, like how would you describe your style of playlist that you put on?
It's like old school hip hop and R&B and stuff, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Old school hip hop R&B. If I get control of the playlist, it's 80s smash hits, and it's usually
And
something
Taylor
weird
Swift.
to start off with. I don't do Taylor Swift. Like it's always like that's my personal collection, but it's usually Whitney Houston's "I Want to Dance with Somebody" or I've had the time of my life. Like I always try and choose the weird because like the first roll's always like weird, like because it's like you haven't got into the groove yet. It's like hey, like you want to dance, and so I always try to pick the weirdest song for that first one. When I was going through a '90s phase, I just used to put on "Kiss Me" because just two dudes try and like start like holding each other, and just like it was like I'm just sitting at the sidelines watching, just like chaotic evil, just like this is so cool. But now, yeah, like now the current playlist, and I was umming and ahhing about this one for so long, and it's great mashups. If anyone listens to DJ Cummerbund, like, oh yeah, listening to the Mighty Boss Tones mixed with Taylor Swift or Stevie Wonder and Disturbed, like it's man, the amount of times I'll see like people just look up off the floor at me like the fuck, and I'm like, yeah, I know, right? It's cool.
Mate, you even made like Sam laugh his head off in the middle of a spar. Like this is Killer Sam in his element. And as soon as one song came on, he just started laughing in the middle of a round. I'm like, fucking hell, Sam laughing. This psychopath is laughing.
Dude, I think it was like Lizzo and Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel. Like as soon as that came on, even I was laughing. Um, we're not going to get through these questions at this rate. But yeah,
This is Balaki's fault.
I'll find a way of making that playlist up because it's through YouTube. But I'm sure there's another. Maybe it's on Spotify. I haven't checked. I haven't got Spotify. That's probably why. Ooh, here's one. Takedown concepts for beginners.
Don't let your back touch the floor.
Yeah, like,
I mean, it all goes back to that beginning thing, innit, where fucking don't let people behind your neck, don't let them in your armpits, and don't let them behind your knees. You know what I mean?
So I did a private today with a new guy, Mitt. He's never done any combat. He's done a bit of boxing, but he's never done any grappling before. He knows a little bit about jiu-jitsu and what kind of it is, but never done anything. And within an hour, and this is going to cause erections somewhere, like somewhere. Almost like they're going to sense the disturbance in the force, and they're just going to get erect when I say this. But I taught this guy takedowns in an hour, ecologically.
Oh, yeah.
But
Chris,
not full ecologically. Like I explained concepts to him, and when I explained concepts to him, then gave him a goal. And the goal was very generic of not like, you have to be able to pull my head down, stand on one leg and say the alphabet backwards whilst I try and take you down. Not like kind of like really convoluted kind of style, but very simple, like get me to the ground. But I gave him the concepts behind it of, like I told him the idea of power. And I said that, the kind of car analogy of tires, handbrakes and engines. You need to make sure you've got good tires on the ground because that's what's going to deliver your power. You've got to maximize your power by making sure you've got good posture and your back is strong, because that's where, every kind of movement you ever do that, requires strength requires a strong back. You want to disrupt mine, like limit my tires on the floor, like, disrupt my tires, and you want to also take a shit in my engine, like you have to bend my back up somehow. And then I said, like, I generate a lot of power through my legs. So if you can put weight through my hips as well when I'm underneath you, that's like putting the handbrake on. Just by teaching him that, he went for a single leg, put his back up straight, and then tried to sweep my other leg. And he did it off a snap down. The fuck?
Mate, these people are advancing too fast. I've got a couple of privates that I've had new on. I'm just wrestling with them at the moment. And it's just the same concepts. And mate, I'm like, fuck me. I've got to cook these people before I've got to take them down. You know what I mean? Because they just understand it so much better.
Well, we started off, and he was going for like, I kind of, the first thing we did was start sparring, and he went for like a bent over, just trying to like rugby tackle me to the ground with his back bent, and I was just like, just throwing him around. He was losing his cardio, and then we kind of went for these concepts, and then we came back into it, and I left him with these like very simple ideas, and he tried to pull my neck down, snap me down, and as he got close, he squatted with his chest like at my side, picked up a single leg, and then was trying to like kick my other leg out. And I'm like, dude, like you've gone from just trying to rugby tackle me to the ground, and then as soon as I hit the floor, like, he mowed me down a little bit. He then kept his hips over the top of mine. And like, without he was using his arms initially, but then when I said like, use your hips, that's where you generate power and keep your back straight. He was then pushing my head down, breaking my posture and putting his weight through my hips so I couldn't stand. I was like, dude, we've been here an hour. And you've invented a single leg off a snap down into a pin with your hips. And then, but
exactly, man. It's scary.
Like, what the hell? We're an hour in. Like, I could have spent ages trying to teach you how to single leg and off a snap down and shit, and you wouldn't have been able to find it. But here we are. Dude, wild.
This is why fuckers like Andy's are progressing so fast, man.
Yeah.
Andy,
exactly.
Lee, Renault, all these guys are progressing so fast because that's the way they're learning, man.
Yeah, and it's because the being able to step outside of dogma and learn a different way, and even like when we think we've got it, but still progressing and go, no, it can get better. We can explain this better, and teaching beginners. Like, would you say we teach any advanced techniques at all? Would you consider everything we do advanced? No.
Not necessarily, no.
We couldn't put on an advanced class if we tried, because it's always reiteration of the same core concepts and giving people the space to play.
Yeah.
And that's the only difference, is that it's reiterating concept, giving them the space to play, and then just time. And they're all getting it. And the speed of the progression, like we barely have to do anything. It's just, and we've got guys catching up to us now who've been doing it. You're on your 9th year now. You're coming up. You're 9 years in. And you think there are guys who are 1 year in who are giving you a hard time. You think, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, and stuff like that. It's like when you see it like just happen that quickly, like shit. Like that probably took me 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This motherfucker invented it in an hour. Dude. So yeah, take down concepts for beginners. I'd say fighting from the ground up. Like get them start on the ground, teach them that stuff about what I just said there. Like maybe there'll be a video in theory about that because this sounds like a really good idea. Plus other things. I took some notes. And yeah, leave them to then go play it. Like apply those ideas and do it from a safer perspective of starting from the ground and working your way back up with mat returns. I think that's the safest way for beginners, because if you try and just start, from distance standing, it's too complicated. Like learning from the front.
I agree.
Like okay, you need to do a snap down, a penetrating step, a shot, or whatever. It's like, it's too much. Like when it's so chaotic. But if you start backwards, work from the end. Like, this is where you want me, because we also did the spatial control theory, like today in that private. I was like, right, the way I explained it to him was like, okay, well, stand between. I wanted to stand against this wall, and I stood, out, away from him. So it's wall, him, then me. And I was like, do you feel comfortable here? He went, no. And then we swapped. I was like, do you feel comfortable now? He goes, yeah. I was like, yeah, because you don't want to be cornered. Like, I'm not touching him, but I'm like, you don't want to be here. And I was like, so you want to be the bread in this sandwich. You don't want to be the cheese. And I just said that to him, like, cool. Like, now look at the floor. That's another slice of bread. Do you want to be bread or cheese? He went, well, I still want to be bread. I'm like, yeah, never be cheese. And it's that simple. And then so he's getting me to the ground, like mat returning me, like trying to break my posture, slash my tires, and then remain bread in this sandwich. And I'm like, cool, there we go. Takedowns, done. Now you just need to fix your cardio by doing this a lot more.
Yeah, that's the sandwich theory there for people.
Yeah. And then
No, I usually make them start to like clinch. So either collar tie clinches or upper body 50-50 clinches and pummeling. That's why I usually make them start, and they fucking love it as well.
I used to like teach them pummeling and stuff, but yeah, I think starting from the ground and doing mat returns, so they always get that kind of like, especially with like grabbing the hips and trying to interrupt the legs and interrupt the posture. They'll figure out takedowns just from that. Like, okay, I'm going to try and get up. You just put me back down again, because then they've got this kind of infinite experience of like different combinations of how they might end up on someone, and they know then if they just get close to someone and they end up in a clinch situation, they've got so much experience of putting people back down again. Yeah, and so like I also like doing closed grip wrestling. That was always good, like as an ecological style drill of like a Scottish backhold or Irish collar and elbow or Mongolian belt wrestling or whatever. Like, right, you can't let go of the grip. You have to be able to get me down and unbalance me by using posture breaks and balance breaks. I think I did when I was in Virginia on this last tour, they asked me if I'd teach the kids class. So I got them to do that, and I got them to do different folk styles of wrestling. And it was great. They were inventing judo throws, and I was like, holy shit, there we go. Done. Here's a more what's his name one. Conversational one. Will gi jiu-jitsu really die out versus no gi, or is that just hype and exaggeration?
Yes, 100% it will die out.
Yeah, it's already boring.
Like, look at it now, man. You've got like the submission wrestling scene, like the ADCCs, even the regional ones, how busy they are. They're busier than the domestic, like the British no-gis now, you know what I mean? That IBJJF rule set, a lot of people don't respect it anymore, man. It's all the ADCC, and then the amount of money that is going into it. And just with people like Craig Jones doing what they're doing, giving ADCC competition as well, you know what I mean? IBJJF has never had competition, or you could argue ADCC maybe, but it's a different rule set. But, CJI is direct competition to ADCC, and already ADCC was probably, paying their athletes more than the IBJJF anyway. And then CJI is now coming in fucking milli on the table. It's like, woo, everybody wants that piece of that cake.
I think, yeah, well, IBJJF didn't reach to pay people, did they?
Yeah, exactly. They want to charge you fucking 150 quid.
I think it's a mixture of rule set and money. And it's why, I've said this before, it's one of the reasons why we can't be an Olympic sport. And it's due to the IBJJF. And that's why it's kind of like, one of the reasons why, amongst other things why I won't support them, is because to be an Olympic sport, please correct me if I'm wrong, but you have to have a non partisan, non government worldwide body representing the sport. And we don't have that. We have the IBJJF, but it's owned by the same people who own Gracie Barra.
Yeah, it's private. It's a private company.
Yeah, it's a private company, and they have the World Championships, the Pans, and all that jazz, but it's owned by, well, it's started by the same people who do Gracie Barra. It's Carlos Gracie Jr. and at that point, it's just like, well, yeah, he's a co-founder of Gracie Barra team, and you think, well, that's like, FIFA or the FA being owned by Manchester United. It's not fair. And it's one of the reasons, again, you need a world championship. And you think, well, you say you win worlds, but you win worlds on behalf of your team. No other serious sport does it that way. You do it on behalf of your country. Like, you have a national games to then represent your country at the World Games. Yet the World Games in Jiu-Jitsu you just pay this private company and you represent your team, which works out because they're there representing Gracie Barra as well. And the more they get people on the podium, the more it works out for their franchise. Like, if you went and you represented England or France or Germany or the US, you wouldn't have Gracie Barra next to your name when you walk out, representing representing. You'd walk out saying England, US, France, or whatever. And because of that, because we don't actually have a non-partisan governing body, we can't be an Olympic sport because we have to have, like, I think 4 years of world championships to be able to be qualified as an Olympic sport. So that time when we were in Brazil, like, oh my God, do you think jiu-jitsu might be on it this year? Can't. We literally can't, because the IBJJF has such a strong hold on it. We can't take it any further. Same with MMA. We haven't got a non-government organisation running one of those either. Really necessarily not a big one. So we're stuck as it is, and because of the rule set, this rule set barely updates itself. Like, oh, we'll go put heel hooks in, but only if you're an adult black belt. As soon as you get to masters, no. Like, and that rule set of, like, how the guard is treated, that you can have double guard pulls and it's slowed down because of the gi, etc. It's not interesting. Like, unless you're really deep in the sport, but it's not interesting enough. Yeah, you get ADCC, and it has a no-gi, and submission-only no-gi. It has a bombastic nature to it.
Yeah.
Which is more entertaining, even if you don't really understand the sport. And then, because of the money, it attracted smart coaches into that field. You think early 2010s, leg locks were barely known, barely practiced, and now they're kind of ubiquitous, and the knowledge we have is great. Why? Because those competitions that came through, where leg lockers would win with basic leg locks, and then people, oh, that's a weakness in this no-gi game, attracted people with money who can smell money, and now we have a much more advanced game than gi.
Yeah, agreed. Like, leg locks it's just like fundamentals now, isn't it? Like, you teach them day one.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not a voodoo like it once was. It's now, it's just a general part of jiu-jitsu. Why is that? Because no-gi dispelled those myths. I mean, yeah, unless we got...
And it's 50% of the body.
Yeah, exactly. Gi's very, like, intricate, but it's self-limited in such a huge way. We are submission only. Like, you can have those crazy kind of mentalities come through where you can slam someone pretty well, and it's a lot of control, and it's very quick because you can't stagnate on grips. It's just more of an interesting sport, and I think gi will always be there, but it's not gonna. No gi's a bigger sport now, and gi did that to itself. And like I say, the IBJJF is partially to blame, and that's why I love jiu-jitsu. I've been in it for 15 years, and I won't support a company which is kind of giving our sport is limiting our sport for its own gain.
Yeah, it's a pretty clever model.
Yeah, like when people say, like, oh yeah, is that IBJJF? Like, who gives a fuck? Like, that's like saying, oh, I have to play football this way because Manchester United told me so. or whatever, like a fucking other team. And I'm like, who gives a fuck? Like, they aren't. If we didn't have FIFA or the FA setting the rules, it's just like, oh, this team says we can only train this way. I could not give a shit what that team say. Like, if different companies want to follow their rule set, then fine. But that's about it. They're not a governing body. They're a company that have their own rule set, no different to ADCC. Yeah, fuck them. Fuck the gi and let it die. So, like, when that new rule set came out, where it said about gis, they had to be a certain way, and was it a ridiculous percentage of gis suddenly became ineligible to go into IBJJ competitions? Like, the fuck?
Oh, mate. Exactly.
Doing it to themselves.
There's no glory in the gi.
No, there could have been.
Yeah.
But it's like, it goes into the wider conversation. I think jiu-jitsu is irrelevant as a martial art, what's going that way. Like, jiu-jitsu used to be a brilliant feeder into early MMA. Like, if jiu-jitsu schools could push those early MMA athletes. But modern jiu-jitsu, like we have this romanticized idea, like you see a submission in MMA, you think, oh, that's jiu-jitsu there. It's like, no, it's submission wrestling. Like, they aren't pulling guard and doing double guard pulls along the floor and shit like that. They're wrestling.
And bolos, they're not doing bolos.
Yeah, like, it's not jiu-jitsu. It's wrestling with submissions. And then we see it in a naked choke or like a dart. Oh my god, jiu-jitsu! It's like, there is no way that that's like, it'd be no different to watching like a strip mall kung fu place, watching a Jackie Chan film, going, oh, look what I can do. Like, no, you can't. Like, sorry. Like, no, it's not real. What you're doing ain't the same as what they're doing. Like, yeah, it's they're not the same thing. Like, you're it's Fantasyland. It's a group hallucination. It's submission wrestling. It's whoever the fucker is on top is more likely to win, and maybe they'll catch submissions on that poorly battered person when they wrestled them down. Like, you tell me the last person who came through predominantly jiu-jitsu that has done really well in MMA.
Nah, I can't think of anyone at the moment.
Fuck all.
Damien Maia.
I did that breakdown of what was it, Buchecha versus what was that Senegalese wrestler's name?
Oh yeah, he's got a pretty unique name as well. It's not coming to my head, but I can visualize him.
Yeah.
Have you seen that fight?
Yeah, I watched it because I did a breakdown of it on In Theory.
Oh yeah, that was all over the place. That match was.
Omar Kane.
Aha.
That was the guy, wasn't it? Senegalese.
He's got a nickname. He's got a nickname as well.
Rug.
Yeah.
Yes. And yeah, he won the decision on it. I can't remember if it was
But he fucking got beat up.
Yeah. God, yeah. Yeah. Like, and that's the thing, is it went for, you've got this guy, Buchecha, who is, arguably one of the greatest BJJ guys in the world, like, historically good, versus a guy who doesn't know submissions. He's a wrestler. Yet you couldn't submit him. Why is that? Why is that, jiu-jitsu? Why couldn't you submit the guy who doesn't understand submissions?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's proving its irrelevance the deeper we get into it. Submission wrestling is a different beast, and it's more interesting. Nogi submission wrestling is a more interesting beast. Like, just because something has submissions does not make it jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Judo has submissions. Doesn't make it jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? You're right.
I mean, it's like, okay, so who, again, another arguably one of the greatest female jiu-jitsu people the world has ever known, Mackenzie Dern.
Yeah. Yeah.
Won countless championships and et cetera, et cetera. The last time she got a submission win in MMA was 2021.
Yeah. I mean, she has pulled off some funky submissions in the UFC, but you are right. It's the higher competition she's getting, like her jiu-jitsu is not working as much. You know what I mean?
So her record is 13-5 in MMA. No, not bad. 7 of those by submission, 6 of those by decision. Her wins.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is it hasn't got the same relevance. Just because something's a submission does not make it jiu-jitsu. It's going down the same way as Aikido.
Yeah.
It's might have I do standing turning wrist locks in training. That doesn't make it Aikido. It's a standing turning wrist lock. It's the training practices that change it.
Yeah.
We have one question, and all it says is pinning.
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 2 hips and 2 shoulders on the mats.
Yeah. Yeah. If we had to talk about pinning, I'd say learn that first. Learn positional dominance before submission. That's one thing that I actually said to this guy today is that, he's coming for this private, and it would have been so easy to just go down the route of, well, here's a bunch of submissions you can do in jiu-jitsu, and literally wasted his hour. Because, so picture this. You've got a new person's come in the room, and you're doing a private with them. They have no understanding. What do you teach first? I wonder how many people will go down the route of, well, here's close guard, and here's how you do a triangle.
I was going to say.
Here's close guard, and here you do a triangle. And it's like, this person's paying money to literally learn something that is completely fucking useless to them. Like, he might as well have just come in and I explained the inner workings of a Tesla to him. Like, this is how you change the fucking cables of a Tesla. Like, do you have a Tesla? No. Like, cool. Well, it's about as useful as me showing you how to do a fucking armbar, like an armbar from guard. Like, it has no use to you. And you're not gonna it's a very, very, very niche bit of you're not gonna be there. And that's why I think for the first year, anytime you teach someone submissions, it's kind of wasted, because if they think that's what their jiu-jitsu should be, they're more likely to do Hail Marys and try and get those submissions and throw away good control learning. But if you just say, look, don't go learn submissions. You're going to pick them up anyway, but don't go for them. I would rather you get control and pin people down, and get good at that. If you can consistently hold people down, then yeah, we'll have a talk about getting some top base submissions. But until then, just learn to get back to your fucking feet, because you can barely do that, Bambi. We'll do that part first. Let's keep it simple, hey. Yeah, just basic spatial control, flanking, posture breaking, balance breaking, being on top. Just do that. Do that for a while, and pinning is part of that. Pinning, the idea that being positionally on top of someone, not necessarily just pinning, are much more important than any submission. Don't bother. Don't waste the other person's. They're paying money. Don't waste their time and money. Teach them something actually fucking useful.
Agreed.
I don't know. I got fired up on this one, Knack.
Yeah, we're nearly 45 minutes in.
I know. Got fired up. Sorry. They've set me off this week. Put these questions out into the world, and I'm like, they're just winding me up now. So, okay, here's a funny one for you. A friend of ours, I think he listens to us actually. So, like, hey Daz, Big Daz, you know Big Daz,
Yeah, Big Dad's Horizon.
Big Daz. Like, yeah, it's like been hit with a train when he comes for you. Um, so he's currently out in the Dominican Republic. I assume on holiday. And he's gone looking for training, and he messaged me. And I was like, how's it gone? And he was like, damn, these are tough, man. These are tough wrestlers out here. I'm like, well, yeah, I think the Dominican Republic's kind of known for good wrestling. He was like, yeah, like the brown belts caught, we're being difficult. I just had to message him like, can we just like dial in some expectations here? Like, you're a white belt. Like, for fuck's sake. Okay, so yeah, I think it was murdering everyone else. Maybe the purple belts couldn't really hold down, but like everyone else is murdering. And I'm like, will you just have some fucking expectation? Like, I could not have walked. Imagine being a white belt again, Knack, and going, yeah, everyone else, like, I can kind of deal with, but it's the brown belts that cause me problems.
Fuck
like,
yeah. Know your place. Know thy place.
I'll be happy if the brown belt didn't decapitate me and just walk around my head on a stick. Like, anything not that is a gain. It's like, oh yeah, like I had this. It was a guy who came for private lessons a while back, and I was teaching him the defensive stuff. So we were talking about 3 years ago here, and he'd come in and he's a very softly spoken guy. And I was like, oh, how's it been going back at your home gym? He goes, oh, it's going well. Like, the brown belts and black belts keep getting me, but everyone else I can defend. So I need to work on a few things. And I'm like, dude, you're like a 60-year-old blue belt. Like, again, can we have some fucking expectations here? Like, I'm sorry that the elite level grapplers keep getting you. Like, my bad. Maybe I shouldn't have taught you this way. After 3 or 4 private lessons. Oh my god. Same with some people come to us who then go off to other gyms. Like, yeah, like the white belts, like, the brown belts here cause me problems. I'm like, will you just stop whinging? They need some perspective. Maybe... Could you remember what it's like being a white belt?
Yeah.
I mean, so I was a purple belt when we met, when you first came down.
Yeah.
I was fresh purple belt as well. I only got it about 7 months prior. So I was a fresh purple belt.
Yeah, and you kicked my ass.
Exactly. Up and down the room. And then it probably stayed that way for a good couple of years.
Yeah.
Imagine you being like, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months into jiu-jitsu and being going, yeah, like purple belts aren't causing issues.
Yeah, you're giving me too many problems, Chris. Look at you, are you teaching me wrong?
The fucking whinging. I don't. So I'm not really complaining. It's funny, but I'm just like, will you just have some perspective here? Like, sorry, the wrestlers, the heavy wrestling style country is causing you a problem. Oh, dude. Oh, one of my other privates, he met a guy. I can't remember what it was through, but they were talking, and this other guy who does kung fu, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I've done some grappling too, and I do grappling with Naki." And
okay,
yeah, exactly. He's recently done a competition, and the guy I give privates to was like, "Oh right, I do privates with Chris." I think Naki trains with Chris, and this guy just apparently went, "Oh shit!" Oh okay. Almost like they just did a secret bow to each other at that point. Oh, I fully understand who you are.
We are part of the same clan.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same clan.
Yeah, that's someone you give lessons to, and then someone I give
yeah,
lessons to
kung fu. That's fast. That is.
Yeah,
that's fast. That is.
Yeah. Yeah, because I can't remember how he said his name. It was like Farouk or something. I was like
Farak.
Yeah. I was trying to think at the time, Farak. Who the fuck's Farak? And like he was like, yeah, I met this guy who does kung fu called Farak. I was like, the fuck's Farak? I was like, Faz. Faz. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'd met each other and they were just like, oh, I train with Naki. Oh, I train with Chris. Oh, sir. Like, understood.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
There's two random guys just meeting each other and going, oh, like it's almost like pulling out a scar on their forearm. Like, you have been branded as well.
Yeah.
Oh, funny. Oh, I knew that'd make you laugh. Anyway, sir, this has been a fun one, and thank you for everyone sending in these awful questions that have really riled up this podcast. I'm trying my best now to choose like segments of the podcast to like as titles, and you know, previous ones have been like giving horses the snip. I can't remember why we came to that one.
Something to do with testosterone.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, consensual choking with old women. That was another one. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out how to name this one. Fuck the IBJJF.
How to beat 15, 12-year-olds.
I thought you just said how to beat off 15, 12-year-olds. I'm like,
Beat up.
I do. Like,
It's getting too late in the night for you, Chris.
it is. It's coming up to 20-1. Like, dude, like, I've got cardio. I haven't got that much cardio. That's gross. Oh, before we start like getting cancelled, because that went fucking weird.
Yeah, we'll get downvoted again. Cut this end part off.
Yeah, I'll do some editing. Like, there's going to be a weird cut. And it's just me saying goodbye. And people are like, what's in there? What got removed? Yeah, fuck it. I don't edit these. It's unless something like fucks up through the tech. I don't edit these. They come out
Raw.
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 Dude, why'd you have to roll the R? Like,
Raw.
why do you have to make it weirder?
I say raw like that anyway.
I might just name this one "Rolling to Romantic Songs." Anyway, so tomorrow I'll get the playlist ready.
Yep.
What's been your favourite one? What's been the one that we've gone like, oh, that's a banger?
If I be honest with you, I don't know, but I just like rolling to them because they're just upbeat, and then there's some rap in there, so I'm like, okay, this is interesting.
Dude, the one with Land of Confusion by Disturbed, mashed with I think it was Wish by Stevie Wonder, and then the bridge breaks into Wild Wild West by Will Smith. I was like, fuck yeah, I could set fire to a building for this. Like, this is amazing. Really, like, it got me going. I think I was the only person probably old enough to actually know what that film is.
No, I know what Wild West is. It's Will Smith. Yeah.
But...
Tommy Lee Jones, is it?
No. Was it Tommy Lee?
No.
It was Tommy Lee Jones.
No, it's not. It's fuck. What's that guy? Yeah, I know which one you're on about.
Yeah, I've got his face in my head. Kevin Kline.
Yeah. There's a part where they have that bloody flying frisbee thingy, and he chops their necks off. Yeah.
Yeah, that was yes. You know that film's 25 years old.
It's old. I know it's old. Fuck me,
dude. I think there are guys in the gym who weren't even born.
Yeah.
Not even close to being born when that came out. I remember having like one of the first DVDs, and it was to Wild Wild West, and it was crap. Not the film; it's a banger. But yeah, the DVD never worked. Anyway, we're going to chat shit for hours now.
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow at training.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
Good night, sir.
Good night.